Give them a shot to do what?
What is going on, everybody? We are back in the building. Welcome to episode 4 of Pros and Joes. If I'm not mistaken, Jim, are we on the right track here? This is episode.
No, I can't count past 3, bro.
Well, that's your own issue. I can't help you with that at this point in your life, brother. But that's okay because that's the same amount of wins your New Orleans Saints are going to have this year. So I'm sure you'll be staring at that 3 for the majority of the year. I'm feeling it.
Coming from a Bears fan.
We're going to the bowl. Hey, Billy, watch this. Watch this. How many? 135. We're going to the fucking Super Bowl. Period. That's just what's happening.
Over under 3. You already hit 1, and the Bears, dude. Caleb Williams is gonna suck, dude. Sorry.
Stop it. You know this guy told me Taysom Hill is better than Caleb Williams the other day. Get out of here, bro. You're smoking that shit. You're smoking it. But welcome to episode 4 of Pros and Joes. We got a couple of B's in the building. We got Billy Amick of the Minnesota Twins and the professional golfer himself of the Milwaukee Brewers, Wrigley North, Brock Wilken, back on Pros and Joes. How we feeling, fellas?
I'm good. Chilling.
Brock, man, before we get into anything, I have to ask you, man, that golf swing. How does that come about, man? How does that come about? Because I'm myself, man, I'm a mini golf guy. So like I'm just trying to ask, like, how you get that range in there?
Yeah, you just you kind of grip the stick and you let it rip. You know what I mean? There's not much to it. You just see how far you can hit it, and if it goes straight, sick. If not, you're like,
it's not that simple. I've tried that, and when I grip it and let it rip, it goes a million miles that direction.
You want to know something crazy though? Like, because I hear what you're saying, but the last time I did that, I got banned from Top Golf for a whole calendar year. Like it was the dumbest thing, bro. I don't even like understand it. Like Top Golf, by the way, Pros and Joes is not affiliated or sponsored by Top Golf for certain reasons. And I'm just saying, when you go to Top Golf, you're supposed to have a good time. You're supposed to have some drinks. Billy, I don't know if you've ever been. It's a good time. It's a good vibe. I'm no golfer. I've played baseball my whole life. So me and my boy Rob were there. This is like 2020. I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't hit the ball into these tiny little holes. Let's just see how far we can rip it. So we started doing that. We ended up ripping one way over the entire fence of the thing, and it ended up going on the highway across the street. And that was cool for like 5 seconds until they politely asked us to never come back because of that. And we were like, dude, like, anyways, that's my beef with Top Golf this week. But man, let's get into it, man. We have a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to get into. But first, we have to talk about our sponsors of Pros and Joes. Let's get into it. Old Dominic Distillery. Experience 150 years of tradition in the heart of downtown Memphis. From bourbon to vodka, whiskey to gin, they got it all. So check them out in person or online and tell them that Mike and Jim sent you. You could probably see Jim sitting in the corner of whatever bar you walk into if you're in Memphis. So you don't even have to tell them that Jim sent you. You could just.
I'm on 75 hard. I will not be drinking for another 71 days because I'm only 4 days in.
I'll give him 6. I'll give him 6 or 7. Once them Saints start rolling, Jim's gonna start drinking. That's just
that might not be a lie though.
It might be factual, but man, our next one we got to talk about it. Chinook Cidery. Whether you're on the field or in the boardroom making decisions and deals, Chinook Cidery will help you get the job done with 8 flavors, mild to wild. And they just sent me a little care package the other day. Jim hooked it up. I got a whole box full right here. I can't lie, this is just one of the boxes. We obviously got some other stuff going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I've been ripping the Smokehouse barbecue for a little bit, and I think Jim, you got
to do the smoke and toast. You got to do cinnamon toast and barbecue together.
See, that's where I was last night. I was like, man, I ripped 2 packs at once on accident, and I was like, man, I might as well just mix them. And I forgot what I mixed, but they're pretty.
Look, when I show up to see Brock play in person in a couple days, if he doesn't take a picture with some Chinook seeds, I don't know him, man. I'm just saying.
Oh man, 100%.
I don't know. I know you are, Billy. Brock, I don't know. Have you had Chinook?
Yeah, I've had Chinook.
What's your favorite flavor?
The jalapeno ranch or the hatch chili.
Oh, he likes some spicy ones. Okay.
You know, at the stash, you could tell from the stash, he's a spicy man. Man, We got some swag in the room today. A couple of hot corner studs, swag corner studs. We love to see it. I just want to ask you guys first and foremost, man, because this wasn't on the list, but it pissed me off. Just for Billy, it pissed me the fuck off. It had me tight. Like, man, it really gets on my nerves when I see a 9-year-old on a field. We're all about to go hit BP, for our, old man softball. We're doing 16-inch, whatever. And I see a 9-year-old that has better gear than I've ever had in my 24 years of life. And I want to ask y'all, man, like both of you, your whole life, like, is it getting a little crazy? I saw a kid with a sliding mitt that looked nicer than my car. Like, where are you guys at right now as it pertains to these kids having some of the best equipment possible? When we were little shorties growing up, it was like, you just grabbed your glove and you just went. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I think some of it's pretty cool, but like buying like $500 cleats for a 9-year-old that's just gonna grow out of it in a year don't seem very, very right. But I think the slide mitts and stuff are cool. Obviously, it keeps the kids coming back, and it's fun to wear and stuff like that. So I think that's good. But buying expensive stuff they're gonna go out of in a year probably ain't for me.
Now Billy's got a great answer, and he obviously, he's financially, holding it down. The man who buys a new iron every other week, Mr. Golfer, maybe he has a different answer. Brock, how you feeling?
It's about the kicks. You can think it's about the clubs. It's about the kicks with Brock.
Them clubs are pricey though, man.
Yeah, I don't buy no clubs. I got a set. I'm rocking with it. It's money. Butter.
I tell you where I am done on the deal, Mike. When I went, speaking of Chinook, I went and put out seeds at the biggest competitive travel ball tournament they had it here at Stone Grove, where they hold the Little League World Series. These 6-year-olds with walk-up songs is where I draw the line, man. Dude's trying to come out being Billy Barrels and have the stroke playing, and it's like, bro, man, like, come on, that's too much, man. These little kids don't need all that.
I agree. I think that, some of that stuff's cool, like the slide mitts and stuff. For me personally, I never wore like any of the Evil Shield stuff, none of the C flaps, none of the sliding mitts, until this year when I got hurt. And then the Brewers were like, all right, you got to wear everything. So I was ankle guard, elbow guard, hand guard, the face mask, the sliding mitt, the whole nine. So they're not
man in a bubble.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're gonna get into it. There's a reason they do this stuff. He took one off the chin, but we'll get to that. But Billy, I gotta ask something off the top, man. I wanted to do this in the icebreaker before we got to baseball. I always joked with you, right? Said you were the coolest dude in college baseball because of the stroke, man. I was in Lindsey Nelson in person. I was in Omaha. I saw everybody, doing it, clapping in sync. But bro, I messaged you 100,000 people at a football game. Did you ever imagine like seeing that?
No. When I saw that, people sending me that was crazy. Never would have thought that'd be a thing. But it was sick. Hopefully, I get to make it up there and they play. That'd be crazy. But yeah, it was insane to see.
Mike, I need them to retire that song. It's no different than Dylan Cruz's walk-up song, which he still carried it over from college to pro. But I'll go to games and I'll see somebody else using Billy or Dylan or anybody's walk-up song that's a significant person. And then I'm like, and they're usually somebody not very good, not trying to be mean. And I'm like, bro, like, please, retire that song. It belongs to Billy. Like, I need you to not do that. And what's ironic was somebody, I think it was Florida State, Billy, and Omaha, somebody else on an opposing team had it, and they tried to mimic it and clap, and their fan base was not bringing it like Tennessee, so the energy just didn't match. But sticking to that football game, Billy, the band, dude, they spelled out Tony V's thing and then did the baseball stadium and all that stuff. Like, I mean, how cool is it though, man? College football week 1, but they do so many tributes to the baseball team in that first national championship y'all brought.
Yeah, it was sick. They did a mustache thing for Kirby too. It was really cool. And then, Vol fans are always crazy and very passionate about their sports. So it's cool to see and be around for sure.
No, most definitely. While y'all were doing that, I'm over at Wrigley Field watching Paul Skeens absolutely dominate the Chicago Cubs. And you know what? It's Jim's fault, really. It's Jim's fault because Jim texted Paul that I was talking shit the last time we played the Pirates. So I knew this go around was going to be like that. So Brock, my question for you, man, you being able to face Paul, you seeing him in
Mike,
real time.
while you're glitching, hold tight.
Oh, I'm glitching.
I'm gonna see if your video can catch up. And while you did, I'm gonna explain to these guys what you said and why it was important that Paul Skeens did that to your Cubs. Because this man sent me a message, and you better believe I sent it to Paul. Let me tell you how y'all would feel. He said, "Tell Paul we putting belt to ass that we scored 41 runs in 3 games on them last time and had a Cubs sweep on Paul Skeens' start day. I dare him to come back on Pros and Joes." This man actually said all that to Paul Skeens, and then he's even the slightest bit surprised that Paul did his team like that. So, Mike, you got everything you asked for.
Man, it was horrible. Jim, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, you are unglitched, so I had to fix you.
I don't know what happened, brother. I don't know what happened, but listen, Paul put belt to ass. He stood on business. I'm here for it. We could take it just as well as we dish it. But Brock, man, I mean, you've seen Paul in real time. You faced against him countless of times. Are you the least bit surprised about what he's been able to do in his first year, from being an all-star to potentially, and let's not say potentially, let's call it for what it is. He's going to win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, no doubt. When we faced him last year, obviously it was really electric. But I don't even think like his stuff in college is comparable to what it is now. I think this offseason he really got to work on a couple different pitches that he could throw to pretty much a righty or a lefty. And now that he's staying in one place on the rubber. I'm sure you guys have seen that video where he would go on opposite sides of the rubber for the opposite hitter. So now I think he's in one spot. I think it's going to make him that much more dominant. And, you've kind of already seen it. It's pretty impressive to say the least. Is it still shocking that he's the starter in the All-Star game? Hell yeah, but that shit's impressive too. So it's like, you just got to tip your cap sometimes.
For sure.
I mean, his boy Nicky Nukes, him and Brock, destroyed everybody they faced, and then they match up against Skeens. And I bring it up because Nick messaged me when he was pitching in the All-Star game and told me, he goes, "If LSU doesn't have that dude, we are holding the national championship trophy." And that is a 100% factual statement, Mike. I know you can't actually say what would have happened afterward, but Rhett Lauder, as you can see, who's now in the show, is so good, and their lineup was so good. If my boys don't have Paul Skeens, Wake Forest is the national champs.
Yeah, no doubt. Like that was obviously one of the best games in college baseball history played right there. And to have those two guys go at it like that and now are in the show, it just kind of goes to tell you how much talent was really on that field.
And I was curious before I hand this over to Jim, because unrelated to baseball, but in that same breath, when we talk about the college game transitioning to the majors, I'm talking with Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese the other day, and we're kind of talking about, man, you go from, especially for Camila, go from winning a national championship to, hey man, you're drafted into the WNBA a week later. So for you guys, I'm just curious on that transition to go from, hey, we're playing college ball, getting drafted like what, a month and a half later, and now you're playing pro ball immediately after. So for you guys, I'm curious, is that transition difficult? And what are the differences and intricacies in which you try to, you're trying to improve, but also you're running through the entire season, kind of just like a year straight?
Yeah,
I'll say something before to cut you real quick, because both of them, their last games were also in Omaha. The biggest thing for me is them being in front of a packed out 30,000 to being in front of 30 people. That's just, man, that's got to be the craziest thing in the world.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is my first game here, fans weren't even allowed to come in the game because they weren't getting any business. So it was like 4 people, parents in the stands. And last game I played was like you said, like 30,000, and it's definitely a transition. But you get used to it after a little bit, and once you get to know your team and get to playing with them for a little bit, it's easy just to go out every day and just play ball like you always have.
Yeah, you go from Omaha to rookie ball, and you're like, what the hell am I doing? You got 2 dudes that speak English, and there's 5 people in the stands, and 4 of them are your personnel from the team. So it's like, all right, like how am I going to get ready to play this baseball game here? But you just got to find a way. It's the same game. You just got to go out there and play the game.
He said 2 dudes that speak English and one of them's him. That's crazy.
I mean, let me ask you this though, boys, and I'll start with you, Brock, since you're already answering. Does it take pressure off though, man? Because I mean, like you said, I mean, you're on the biggest stage, and then there's nobody there. It's kind of funny, right? Because now you're playing professional baseball, and you're trying to make it to the next, level, and so you want to succeed, but it also has got to feel easy because you don't have all those people watching you.
Yeah, it does and it doesn't. I don't know, Billy, you might be able to attest to this too, but it's like either way, there's like this pressure, especially because we're both pretty high draft picks, so it's like, all right, you go from 30,000, you got all that pressure from them, and then you go to 5-10 people, and then there's still that pressure because like, oh, this guy's a really high draft pick, they expect him to do good, and it's like if you don't do good in front of your 5 to 10 people or your team, you're like, damn, that's weird.
And the reality is probably those people are there to see you, if we're being honest, right? Like you're the new guy. So it's like they're there. They only decided to come to this game and be the only ones to see you. And then you go 0 for 4 and you're like, damn.
Yeah, no doubt.
You lost a fan, Brock. No, I'm playing.
Well, it's funny. We talk about that, but what I tell you, Mike, it was the craziest thing. I go to the Redbirds against the Norfolk Tide boys, and I go to see Jackson Holiday. I want to see if the hype is real. Go see him 3 straight days. He goes 1 for 13, right?
I get it.
And this is 2 weeks before he gets called up and then just absolutely tears it up for Baltimore. But, Mike, do you remember? I'll own it. I sent a message and told Mike, I said, I think this dude might be overrated.
No, yeah, Jim was hot. Jim was pissed. Now, Jim did say, great kid, nice guy. You know what I mean? He was willing.
I mean, he came up and talked to me, signed the stuff, but he's swinging at high heaters and looked like he didn't know what he was doing.
Exactly, and that's like, man, I'm a huge jazz guy. I'm a huge Jazz Chisholm guy. Even though Jim wants to sit up here and act like I only praise Bobby Witt Jr. But we'll talk about that later, fellas. I got some questions. But man, I've seen Jazz 4 times in my life, and all I've gotten out of it is a walk. One walk in the very last game. And Billy, when I tell you, bro, if you would have seen me at 3:40 in Chicago on a Friday, the way I exploded on the final day of that series when this man got walked, you would have thought we won the World Series all over again. I was like, fucking finally. Like I'm waiting for something, brother. Like that Denzel Washington skate. I'm leaving here with something. Like at least I got to walk. Like it was traumatic.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's been so when I go see these two guys. So when I went and saw Brock and I drove all the way to Wake Forest, it might have been the only weekend he didn't produce. So luckily, Nick Kurtz was banging that weekend, so I couldn't just be completely mad and Rhett showed. But I was like, Brock, I mean, dude hit a home run like every day, and then I showed up, and he did have multiple walks at least that weekend. But then I go see Billy. Billy ain't got no problem. He'll drop a bomb every game I come to. So at least one of these two guys got me.
It seems like a you thing, though, man. Billy seems like he's the only one that's beating the curse, the Jim Cross curse, when he shows up in games, man. It's a real effect.
No. But let's get into it, man. I want to talk to you about draft day, Billy. We already got to talk to Brock about this on his first time Pros and Joes. But, man, such a special day. Who were you with? Where were you at? And just, man, walk us through that day and the emotions.
Yeah, no, I was just at my house. We had a bunch of, friends and family over and, had dinner and all that kind of stuff, just hanging out, watching the drafts. Obviously you have your expectations of where you want to go and stuff like that. And, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I just went into it not really, try not to have too many expectations of where I'm going to go or stuff like that. I was just, ready to get it over with, ready to start, this next chapter. And, it was good. It was exciting. And, I was just glad it got over with, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, you probably were very stressed because there was a lot of talk of you going earlier. And it's kind of funny because you still go really high, but not as high as potentially. But I thought it worked out well because you went to a good organization. Me and Mike talk about this all the time. Like, there are benefits to not, being the first guy off the board sometimes. We joke about schemes, but the reality, Mike talks about it. The Pirates are a trash organization. It's good to go number one, but also, yeah. So, you know what I mean? So, like, Minnesota, all the guys that we know have went through there have had nothing but good things to say. So, I think it worked out well for you, landed well, and I'm glad it did.
Jim, real quick, because I wanted to throw this one in here. I thought it was spicy for you. I got a question for Billy, since it's most recent getting drafted. Cooper DeJean of the Philadelphia Eagles, they recorded his entire draft night, and it ended up getting leaked that his phone number from one of his teammates, he passed it around to some of the wrong people. He got a prank call from some guy on draft night saying he was a part of the Green Bay Packers and that he's been selected, and it was a prank. So I'm gonna ask you, funny or not funny that somebody prank called him and told him he got drafted while the draft was going on?
If I was the one doing the calling, it'd probably be funny, but if I was getting the call, probably not. So
if you got that call, man, you're joining Shohei Ohtani, you're going to the show, and then you find out some 9-year-old kid in Louisville, Kentucky just gave you the call, man. No, I thought it was crazy. Brock, what do you think, man? Funny or not funny?
I'd be so pissed.
Dude,
Yeah, I mean, that's messing with some serious emotions, Mike. I'm with Brock, man. I'm trying to find who it is, where they're at. We fixing to throw down.
Oh, we finding the VPN immediately. We're linking wherever you're at. We're linking.
Mike, I got a random shout out. I just got a text from the owner of Chinook Cedary. He said, "You're the man," and I was like, "You care to give me some information and what that means?" Anyway, our dude that we were just talking about, Paul Skeens, sent the ownership of Chinook 2 autograph balls. So even Paul, in his busy time, took care of Chinook. I told Paul, look, you send it to them. They will send you the most endless supply of Parmesan pepper because that's his thing. He'll chew on them things all day. That's why I call him Parmesan Paul. So shout out to Paul and our sponsor. I just figured I'd share that since that text just came through. But, Billy, one more question. I'll get back over to you, Brock. The national championship, it's been a little bit now, you're playing pro ball, but I don't know, man, is it still with you? Are you still getting to enjoy the vibes? Because, I mean, it was such a historic season and so much fun. Like, do you still think about it on a regular daily basis, or is it kind of behind you and you're just really focused on what you're doing now?
Well, it's hard not to think about it when you play in front of 10 people every day. But, no, it's been great. And it's obviously – you got different stuff to worry about now with pro ball and just trying to develop as a player and as a person. But I think once we all get to go back to Knoxville and either go to a football game or go play golf or something like that, and just get to be around the fan base again is when it'll really start to set in again, I guess. But while we're here and we're getting to work and we're just trying to be a better player. But it definitely, it'll cross your mind every now and then when you put on a T-shirt or wear a Tennessee shirt, something like that. So
check this out, Mike. I'm a little disheartened when it comes to Brock, man. Like, I was sending him, collegiate athletes, female athletes that we would interview, and I'm like, bro, you need to holler at this chick, or you need to holler at this chick. And this man tells me he's done got engaged, Mike. I mean, why he would make such a decision, he's got life at his fingertips. I'm just going to tell you, marriage away. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do all that to Mrs. Cross. I'm not going to do all that to Mrs. Cross and make it sound like it's as terrible as it is. But, man, you made that decision. Just how excited are you, Brock? And, do we have a date? Do we know when it's going to be?
Yeah, we're trying to plan that out. That stuff's pretty expensive. So just trying to figure that out of when everything's going to get settled down. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the best decision I've made on or off the field. So she's the greatest person ever. She's the best. She holds it down 24/7. Talk about keep it real. I mean, she'll let me have it. So, has
she been able to make it to many of the games?
Yeah, she comes a lot. She's with me in Biloxi right now, so she kind of just hangs out a bunch. Comes to the games. She has fun with the other wives and girlfriends. So
All right. Well, me and Mike are going to need our invitation with Mike's my +1, or we're not getting anything on the registry. I'm just saying, if we don't get an invite, we ain't coming.
You just get Chinook seeds, bro. That's my gift, and I'll send it. But Brock, I do have a question. It's a corny question. I probably don't even want to ask it deep down. I'll kick myself for it later. But would it be safe to say that September, October are out of the question for a potential wedding just because of MLB playoffs, maybe potentially down the line?
Yeah, it's probably out of the question just because I recently just got invited to Arizona Fall League. So that goes starts like September 30th until November 10th. So that's kind of out for us a little bit. So we're kind of looking more towards next off season, if anything.
For sure.
Mike, so think about a wedding being on deck, and my man Brock takes one off the face. I gotta think about the thoughts going through her. You know, she's obviously concerned and she's scared, but she's also wondering what this man might look like afterward. Let's be honest. And I'm gonna be honest, Brock. I gotta ask you, through the pain, was that something that you were actually thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a wild situation. You know, you never expect to take 95 to the cheek, but you know, when it does happen, she was actually there. I think that
man, that had to have been scary as hell.
Yeah, that was pretty scary. So she kind of, the way it was set up, the away clubhouse is kind of on the second deck of the complex. So you kind of walk like past it as a fan, like in the stadium. And so she knew where it was, and she met me up there. But yeah, it was pretty scary. You know, my face was deformed for a little bit, couldn't really breathe. My eyes started swelling shut, couldn't see out of it. So we get to the hospital, and I was like, you know, I looked at her, I was like, hey, it's your one chance. You know, I'll give you a free pass. You can get out of this if you want, because you know, I never know what to expect after coming back from that.
I mean, the reason why I asked that is because I genuinely know the feeling. It wasn't directly my face, but when I had my 3 neck surgeries and I was gashed all over, like, and I seen the initial stitching, everything, because it looked so much worse right after. Like, I literally, you know, told my wife, I was like, I look like Frankenstein here, like all stapled up and everything. Yeah. But then it all healed real well. But when you do have a wedding on deck and you got to look your best, it is a thought process. But how long did it take before, not even the baseball side of it, just like seeing clearly, like how long did it take before your vision was back?
Yeah, so it really didn't mess up my vision. Thankfully, I kind of just hit more of like right here, basically. So I kind of just hit my orbital bone, fractured my orbital bone, but it missed my C-flap. So like the way it was coming in, it was like kind of like a sinker, and it missed my C-flap. And it just hit the top of my C-flap, so it got more of my cheek, and fractured this bone right here, and went all the way to my nose, and it fractured my sinus cavity, my nasal cavity, and the nasal structure itself. So they basically had to do reconstruction from like here over to my nose. And I still can't feel it.
Mike, it sounds so painful. And Billy's sitting there thinking about wearing a face guard right now as he's hearing it described. He's like, I ain't fixing.
My initial thought was, I mean, hey, listen, no ill will, no disrespect to the pitcher that threw that pitch, but that sinker ain't sinking, brother. How the hell does a sinker end up by your dome? That don't even make, brother. You is not going to the league with that pitch. I'm just letting you know that right now. Like that is tragic. But that is tragic.
The reality is, Mike, is, you know, the orbital bone, man, it shows you how hard that is. It's the second hardest bone in the body. And so for it to break that, it just tells what it did. But I'll say this, and I'll turn it back over to Mike. I made a comment about the shoe game a minute ago, Brock. At the end of the day, you know, hey, if, you know, your face would have been a little bit off, if you keep the shoe game right, like you can still be fly. You don't got to be the best looking. You know, the shoes can cover up a lot. Which I got to know. What's your latest pair you've gotten? I'm intrigued.
I just got a couple pairs. I got a shoe guy. He gives me some pretty good deals. I got a couple of shoes. I just got 3 of them. 2 Travis Scotts and a pair of white Kobe 6s.
And it's funny he says that, Mike. I send him a pair of Travis Scotts I got. I'm feeling good about it. Like, they're a hard pair of shoes to get. And I send it to him, and he's like, yeah, I got the same pair. And I'm like,
You know that.
You just took it all away from me. I felt good about myself for a second. Brock's like, I got 3 pairs of those.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm just shaking my head. I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it whatsoever, because I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't looking for them too. But when I saw the prices, I go, this man don't even hoop for real. Why the fuck? Why am I paying so much for Travis Scott? Like, what has Travis contributed to shit? Like,
Mike, you came on here in season 1 and told Andrew Lindsay and Chase Dolander you can't afford Legos. So I know you can't afford shoes.
Well, at that time, I couldn't afford Legos. I was working at Jewel Osco as a bag boy. So
this man got fascinated with Andrew Lindsay's Lego set behind him and said as a kid he couldn't afford Legos, so he was jealous.
Bro, I couldn't afford. Billy, this is my first time meeting Billy. Billy probably thinks I'm the biggest piece of shit. But no, man, we couldn't afford Legos as a kid, and you're hoeing me for it. Don't be mad at me. Like, what did I do?
Hey, can I tell you something, Mike? Rookie of the Year is a better movie than Hardball.
Yeah, anyways, so we're gonna.
I'm trying to push that button.
You can go ahead and push it all you want, brother. It just makes you look bad.
G-Baby's overrated character.
All right, bro. I'll see you in like 8 hours when I get down there. Just know that I'm gonna be there. Just like earlier, the prank call. Just wait. See how mad I get. Billy really think I'm playing now too. I'm so for real now. But listen, man. Like I get everything. Everything you guys have seen. Everything you guys have done. I mean, some of the most important moments of your life have been throughout the last 2 years, but one of the more important moments, fantasy football 2024. Are y'all participating this year? What's going on with that? Billy, you seem very adamant. You seem very vocal. What's going on, man? What's the roster looking like?
Yeah, I got through my drafts. Last one was on Monday. I think I have three leagues I'm in. But they're promising. You obviously gotta see how it plays out, but we'll see.
Now, who's your guy this year that you're kind of like, maybe people are looking at you funny that you picked him up, but you believe in your heart of hearts? Mine is Devin Singletary. I'm telling you right now, this is the year of Devin Singletary. Daniel Jones can't throw a lick.
Yeah, I like that. I picked up St. Brown from the Lions, and I think all of them in the first round, to be honest. So
that man's all in.
I think he's gonna have a good year. But
Mike, we need to pray for the health of St. Brown.
Man, one St. Brown injury and Billy's gone. Like he's
pretty much.
Brock, how about you, man?
I don't even watch football that deep. Like,
man,
I couldn't.
He's swinging the clubs.
Yeah, I got other priorities. You know what I mean?
Wow. That's
Billy. You heard that?
Billy, no. That what he just told Billy is why you slow down to get engaged. Right there.
Yeah. You see, that's that Wake Forest bullshit thing. Nah, I'm playing.
Dude, hey, Wake Forest dudes be throwing some serious shade. We talked about it on last night's episode with Andrew Fisher, because he was talking about how he had to study at Duke, but he didn't have to at Ole Miss. And it's a whole ACC thing. And these Wake Forest cats always be talking about how in the SEC you don't actually have to go to class. So it's a thing that they do. They like to throw shade and act like they ain't got time for other things.
Oh God! Like, come on, bro. What are we even talking about? But fine, fine. You know what, Brock? Just for you, I'll keep it in that wheelhouse, but also bring it back to college. You got the 12 playoff format now in college football. Brock, if your priorities allow you to watch college football, all right, does that entertain you in any way?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
I'll watch any collegiate sport over any professional sport any day of the week.
For sure.
I got no issue with that because they're all playing with heart, man. It's not about the paycheck.
No, for sure. You see, this is just me. I think you see a lot crazier, more physical plays in college game, just because a lot of guys are just, hey man, listen, a lot of these cats are playing for the free. Not everybody's got an NIL deal. Not everybody's doing what they can. I mean, everybody's trying to make that big play. So Billy, 12 playoff format. Do you like it? Do you hate it? How do you feel about it?
I think it'll be good. I know last year it was tough seeing Florida State and just that whole situation. I know that was tough, but I'm excited to see how it goes, and
I can't lie though. I was talking a lot of shit. You know, they want to womp. They want to cry, sit here, talk about we missed the playoffs, then get dusted by Georgia Tech. I was like, that's why you didn't make the playoffs.
No. Let me tell you, that's right where I was going, Mike. And Billy will love this. The trolling of Tennessee to Florida State. They are basically showing that play where Blake Burke supposedly, swung and struck out, but they said he didn't go. And they're saying that that's the play that broke the spirits of Florida State as an athletic program as a whole.
Yeah, I've been seeing him. I was sending him to Burke. That's funny.
Oh, I love it. And the thing was, Mike, it took an explanation of the rules to get these people to understand. They didn't understand the positioning of the body and everything else with that bat matters. It's funny when you have people who are very, very casual baseball fans that think they understand a rule because the umpires 100% got it right, but Florida State fans still seem to not get it months later.
No, for sure. Now, I do want to keep it in the realm of what our conversations are today. When we talk about drip, we talk about swag. I got to talk to you guys, especially being in minor league baseball. We got some fire minor league baseball jerseys, and we got some bullshit. So my question for you guys right now, man, when you look at 2024 Major League Baseball All-Star uniforms, both National League and American League, do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like the way it's going? You know, I said myself on the show, I think you look like a packet of Gatorade when they got the National League ones. Paul Skeens looked like he was dripping in blueberry Gatorade, man. It was crazy. But do you like these kind of new age baseball all-star jerseys, or are you rocking with the traditional, you wear your team's colors?
I thought they were sick, to be honest with you. I thought the Texas theme and all that. I thought they were sick.
Yeah, Mike? I think there's two aspects to it. Like, I love the OG, like, wear your uniform. I think that's like just so tough. Because it really like brings together like everyone throughout the league. You know what I mean? It kind of just shows you, how many guys there actually are from different orgs. But I do think like they have been stepping it up. Like, I think this year's was pretty good.
Yeah, I think what got me, and I've had this conversation with Jim off the air before. Like, you guys remember, what was it, Jim? Was it 2015 or 2017 when they did the yellow and brown for the National League? And I was just like, you lost me, brother. I'm never looking at this shit ever again. But it's creeping.
But I just thought about, I love the uniforms this year, but I did just think about Brock's point. It is cool if you're a fan of a team and you see 4, 5, 6 guys maybe wearing the uniform and you realize like, my dudes are doing it.
Yeah. And you know what? What's crazy though is when I say that, hey, he just shuts it out. When Brock says it, oh yeah, I get you, Brock. Yeah, that makes sense. That's
I don't even remember if there was more than one Cardinal in the All-Star game, to be honest with you, man.
I knew we had Shota and Managa, and I think that was it. So shout out Shota.
Hey, by the way, I can't believe we've made it more than halfway through an episode and you haven't taken a dig at the Cardinals. I appreciate you.
Ain't shit going on, man. I got nothing to say.
We beat the Yankees this week. You don't know what to say. True. See, you got nothing.
Congratulations, I guess. Still in third place, so I'm not tripping over it. But nah, man, look. This one is for either of you guys, but Brock specifically, I'm keeping it in the National League Central, the conversation. Unfortunately, we can't talk about how fast Goldie is because he's a little old now. But P. Crow Armstrong, man, from home to home the other night, and an inside the park home run in 14.4 seconds or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz. I got something for you. Ready for this? Ellie De La Cruz or Pete Crow Armstrong, home to home in a race. Who you got?
I probably got PCA. I played against him in spring training this year, and I got to talk to him and know him a little bit, and that was something I haven't really seen before. Like, that dude was kind of just scooting. But I think that's silly. 14 seconds is just silly.
It's crazy. And this one, Billy, if you want to chime in too, like we talk about, the intricacies of how you're going to even be able to slide into home in 0.5 seconds before the tag comes down. How important is base running as it pertains to making those type of plays? Because everybody thinks it's just because PCA's got wheels, man. He can just turn the corners, but it's that he made every right move, every right step he possibly could have. If he was even one step off, he would have been out at the plate. So how much do you guys try to practice that and continue your base running ability, even at the minor league level?
Well, it's definitely a big part, and we prioritize it at Tennessee too. Just working for your hitter, and trying to get home however you can, and then obviously like tight turns and stuff like that. Just being quick, even if you're not fast. Just being a good base runner is definitely a huge part of winning ball games.
Yeah, I'm not the fastest guy, but you gotta. If you're a good base runner, you're getting a lot of brownie points with your teammates. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Jim, how about you, man? Home to home, man. Right now, today, how fast you think you're going?
How fast?
Saints win it all. Saints win it all if you get to home.
You couldn't ask me who was going to be faster. You had to ask me about my speed.
No, I'm
at
asking
this
you.
Point.
I'm asking
That's
you.
what I'm saying, man. I don't know. Probably 5 minutes these days because I'm gonna have to stop at second.
Damn, all that lifting for what?
No, I mean, if you'd asked me 3 years ago when I was 40 pounds less, it would have been a different story. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. You asking me at the worst point in my life. I mean, can I stop and get a Gatorade at second, and we stop the clock and then restart? Like what? I mean,
we'll give you a 3-second Chinook break. How about that?
Look, there's a reason why I love the slow pitch softball. That if you hit a home run, you just touch first and go to the dugout. I would hit home runs, not even just because I like hitting bombs, just so I didn't have to run.
That makes sense. It makes sense. But my last one, before I hand it over to Jim, we're looking at this MVP race right now, man. Aaron Judge in the American League. We won't even go to the National League because, Jim and I don't got no horse in that race. But when you look at the American League, Aaron Judge leading damn near every single category, but Bobby Witt Jr. doing his thing as well. Who do you guys got in this right now? And what do you think is going to come down to going into September?
Personally, I got Bobby Witt. Like that. That's my favorite guy to watch in the league. Like he's just the man. The way he carries himself too is just like super intelligent. Like super like professional about the way he goes about his business. And not to mention he's hitting 340 with 30 and 30 bags. So it's like, come on, man. Like I know what Judge is doing is stupid, but at the same time, like, are we going to go for the best player, or are we just going to go for?
I mean, you're making Mike's day right now.
Man,
I mean,
miss you, Brock.
He is smiling so
I
big.
miss you so much,
but
Brock.
Mike, don't worry. When this episode's over, I'm going to send you that clip of Skeen striking
I'm
him out
sure he
twice.
fucking is.
Don't worry.
Yeah, it could definitely be either, but Bobby Witt doesn't really have a Juan Soto hitting in the same lineup. So
Come on, we got Salvador Perez, Billy. What's his home to home time? 30 minutes.
You said you weren't going to take it to the
nice.
National League, but let's say Ohtani was in the American League with them. Would he have a chance at beating the other two? Because I don't know, man. I understand that everybody knows who Ohtani is. I understand that he's protected in the lineup, but everything he's doing, especially when you add in the stolen bases, man, there's nothing to not love about Shohei.
First guy to do 43-43, which was very specific and odd. I don't know why they were like 43-43. Just wait for him to get 50, bro. Like I'm not gonna go home and be like, yo, did you see Ohtani got 43-43 like that? Like it was the hottest thing since pants were popping.
Oh, you know what we need to bring up, even though it was from last week's episode, and I'll start with you, Brock. They had that line that was like a mile long for his bobblehead with him and his dog.
Wait, Jim, I wanted to get the number right for you because we brought it up.
You got it now?
$18,000 on eBay right now.
Damn. And so, Brock, as a kid, who would have been the guy that you would have waited in a line that long for to get their bobblehead?
Harper for sure. Like that was my guy growing up. Like I loved watching him play. And my parents had a Sports Illustrated subscription growing up, and so when I saw him like on my front doorstep, and I was like 11 and he was 16, I was like, damn, this dude is the fucking man. Like this dude is sick. So yeah, that would have been my guy.
What about you, Billy?
Mine was probably Freddie Freeman when he was back in Atlanta. I was a Braves guy, obviously, growing up, being from South Carolina, so he was definitely always my favorite.
sure.
Look, I seen them eyes, Ray. Mike's a Freddie Freeman hater.
Oh, what? No, but we'll get into that later. Are we doing that question again? Because
You know what?
because I saw some of the comments, bro. They were like, "Yo, Mike don't know nothing about Freddie." And I was like,
well, I'm still laughing because Austin Riley came on here and said Freddie Freeman was the nicest guy he ever met, and then you're going to try to villainize him.
I wasn't saying he was. You know what?
All right,
man,
all right. Well, we got to ask the question. We got to even see if they've seen the movie. So Brock, have you seen the movie Little Big League?
Yeah, like a long time ago, and I haven't.
What about you, Billy?
No.
Okay, so in that movie, Ken Griffey Jr. was not even disliked by anybody, but yet they made him the villain in that movie to go against the kid and his team. And so we asked, I can't remember who was on for that specific episode, who they would make is the villain for a modern day movie. Mm-hmm. And Mike said Freddie Freeman. And I was like, how? I didn't get that.
Well, because look, can I defend because we've been 2 minutes of slandering Mike and Freddie Freeman. Look, Billy, he's got the smile. He's got the swag. He's a nice guy. He looks like a super villain. Like, you see the evil smile from the villain all the time. Like, he looks like that business guy who's always plotting something. Like, and again, in the movie, Ken Griffey Jr. is one of the faces of the league. He's the nicest guy. So you got him in a role that he's not traditionally used to being in. So I said, Jim, because Billy and Brock, you see a guy like Freddie. Oh, yeah, you don't think he's going to be the villain? Cool, now he's the villain. And now I'm looking like the biggest Freddie Freeman hater in the world.
I think the answer is Aaron Judge because he's a Yankee. He's a big dude, but you talked about it. He's a nice guy. But
he on Paw Patrol, bro. You can't put him as a fucking villain.
That has been his argument that he's on Paw Patrol. But last thing I'll say on it, and we'll move on. Ken Griffey Jr., the best part about it was they managed in this movie, since you ain't seen it and you don't remember it, they let him literally rob the home run off the wall. Like, not only did he hit a home run in the game, he scales the wall and robs the home run. And actually, like, this wasn't a storybook ending for the movie. Like, the kid and his team that he was because he was a kid managing the Twins. Oh, which I didn't think about that. Billy, don't ever watch the movie. It's heartbreaking for you, man. The Twins go home.
Billy's like, I don't know what the fuck this movie even is. I don't even care. Like.
All right, well, let's actually get into talking about what y'all have done on the baseball field. We wanted to make this show a little bit different, not just talk about that stuff. So, Billy, I will start with you, man. Batting .222, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs and 63 ABs. You had a slow start. I was curious. We talked about Omaha, man. You played a lot of baseball. Was some of that, just fatigue when you first got there?
I don't know if it was fatigue because we still got like 3-ish weeks off, just be home and do whatever. It's just baseball, honestly. I don't know if I can put my finger on a certain thing to say that was what made me have a slow start, but I just think it's just baseball, and I guess it might be something new and different atmosphere, different bats, different pitchers, different balls, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know.
So with that, I mean, you're a guy who bats over 300. What do you got to do? Is it just simple as putting in the time, or is there some sort of approach or tweak that you got to do to maybe adjust that? Because I know obviously 222, it's got to be something that's probably really bothering you, and you got to focus on.
Yeah, it's just going back to your process and just sticking to your approach and doing it every single day and just stay in your routine and stay confident in yourself. That's what it's all about. It's really you play every single day, so it's just you gotta go do the same thing tomorrow, and you gotta do your best.
Yeah. Now, Billy, we got a couple questions here. The first one, when you make that switch, obviously it's straight wood the rest of your career now, man. Pause. But when you go from aluminum to wood just like that, is there a transition there for you? And is that something you're kind of working towards your final year of college, kind of trying to get into that? Because I've heard a couple people say that they're Barry Bonds with an aluminum bat, but they're just an average Joe when it comes down to swinging the wood.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've swung wood pretty much every summer since high school, and then I was like in the off season too. You'll hit with wood just to just because people say it's more difficult. And so, swinging wood's nothing new to me at all. And it's, I guess maybe it might be a transition just to do it every single day. But I mean, after a week or two, it feels normal again.
For sure, for sure. And then so you get there, obviously, you're playing rookie ball, you're doing your thing. We've asked Brock and every single other guest we've had on the show before this, but for you, man, who have you been able to pick the brain of since you got to minor league baseball, and who's been somebody for you that's been so huge from transitioning from college baseball to now?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple people in the org that one of them went to Tennessee. His name's Julio Bourbon. He went to Omaha when he was a freshman and played at Tennessee with JP Arancibia and that crowd. Went in the first round. So I've gotten to talk to him a little bit, and he's been a huge help. He does base running and outfield, but just getting to be around him and talk, about everyday life and the minor leagues before working your way up and stuff like that. It's been good to talk to him, and he's been a good person to pick the brain of.
For sure. And Brock, man, big Brock, look, Billy, I love the answer. I'm here for you. But Brock, last time we asked you this, we were talking some rookie ball stuff. You spent spring training with the dogs. You spent them with some of the best to do it, some MVPs, some guys in the room that, man, you look at them, you say maybe they'll have a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Who have you been able to pick the brain of over the last 365 days that may be different from the last time we talked?
Yeah, my life changed significantly since then. Being able to attend big league spring training in your first spring training, it's a huge honor. But you really kind of just you're the lowest guy on the totem pole. It's my first full year. There's other guys that was their first big league camp too, but obviously I'm the second youngest to Churio in that whole room. So didn't really know what to do or to expect. And guys like Willie Adames, Reese Hoskins, Bryce Terang, and Yelich really pulled me through that. You know what I mean? Like they really helped me day in and day out. Whether it was whether it was something with a uniform or how to do an interview. Like I did an interview one time. An interviewer came up to me and just interviewed me sitting down in the chair. And the next day I walk in and Yelich calls me over to his locker. And he's like, hey, obviously it's Yelich, so he's got two lockers. He kind of owns the place. So I'm sitting in the locker next to him. And he just like gives me a rundown. He's like, hey, I listened and watched your interview yesterday. He was like really well spoken. That was a really good interview, especially for your first time. It was really good. But here's some tips to go about it the next time. And I was like, damn, like I appreciate that. You kind of went out of your way to do and say that. Same thing with Willie. That was kind of the two guys that I leaned on a lot. And then I think Reese Hoskins was kind of just my favorite guy to be around in general. That dude's awesome. In the clubhouse, on the field, like he's just the man. So I really enjoyed my time with all those guys in there, but those 3-4 guys specifically helped me get through that and give me a lot of advice going through Pro Bowl.
Mike,
Sure.
are you gonna get a Brock Wilken jersey after this? And I say that because he's answered all these questions, and that specifically is your favorite question to ask every episode, and he asked in such detail and depth that the whole time I was sitting there thinking like Mike is just eating this up.
Man, I think for me, and I think it's gonna come down to it. You know what's crazy, Brock? Again, I love you, bro. You're my guy. But I love Billy's answer because these are guys I don't know. You know what I mean? Like these are guys that like I'm gonna okay, cool. Like Billy give me an answer, he's gonna give me some guy who's helped him out, and I'm like, okay, now I gotta go do some homework on who this guy is, where he comes from, his story, et cetera, et cetera. Like I know Christian Yelich, he's been putting belt to ass on my team for years. You know what I mean? Like what I'm supposed to follow up with Brock? Is he just as handsome as the magazine show him to be? Like is that? Like, but I do have a really quick question about Churio because it's been a rookie year. I think is the way you could put that. You know what I mean? There's been
Yeah.
ups, there's been downs. But to see him play in real time, man, is the hype legit? Do you think he's going to be a problem for the next 10 plus years?
Yeah, man. I was fortunate enough to go up to AA my last week last year during my first, half season of pro ball. And I guess AA, I'm the newest guy there. I've, really no friends. I know nobody. I wasn't expecting to play a lot, and I see the lineup the first day, and he's hitting 2, and I'm hitting 3. And like, of course, I know who this guy is. It was the number 1, number 2 prospect in baseball for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, like, all right, like I get to protect this guy. Like, that's my job. And man, just watching him go out there, it's all 5 tools, man. Like, it's silly. He could do so many things on a baseball field that you're just like, that's really, really impressive. And then to go there and watch him do it in spring training, I'm like, yeah, this kid's going to be legit. And he started off the year bad, but he's damn near hitting 280 with 20 jacks and 20 stolen bases. So it's like, if honestly, it's going to be down between him and Skeens between rookie of the year.
Yeah. And hey, man, what about Shota Imanaga, bro? I mean, y'all hate on my man because he's 35 years old as a rookie. Like, hey, the disrespect is crazy, man. If he was on the Twins, it'd be a whole different conversation. It's because he's on the Cubs, isn't it? It's what it is.
I think it really is a done deal. I think Skeens just because of the popularity. But Brock, getting into your stats, man, and I'll tell you, Mike, when I texted Brock about doing the show this time around, at the time in which I texted him, he said, bro, I haven't got a hit this week. Like, I don't even know if I want to come on right now. I'm not even thinking about that right now. But at the end of the day, while he's, similar to Billy, man, he's batting 210, not the average he wants. He does have 16 bombs, 47 RBIs. You've walked 57 times. So, I mean, you're still seeing the ball somewhat pretty well, with that. So what do you got to do, no different than Billy, to make the adjustments? Because, obviously this is your second year in, you are getting more. But, I mean, like I said, between the walks and, I mean, you're still doing damage with the power numbers. What do you got to do to get that batting average up?
Yeah, I think it's just, they've had a lot of ups and downs this year, especially with, getting hit in the face. I think that was pretty.
That's a setback.
Yeah, it's a setback, and it's pretty traumatic too. Just kind of having to step in the box again and kind of gain that confidence back without having to freak out. And it still happens to this day. Like, sometimes they got a Latin kid that's throwing 100, has no idea where it's going, and it's like, I got a face mask on, like a football helmet, and I'm still scared. So it's like, just trying to get through that. I think is going to be the biggest help. But I've gotten through a lot of that. So just kind of making adjustments as I go, mindset wise, physically wise, approach wise, all that stuff. Kind of just keep that on track, and hopefully get right for the fall league and tear that up and then go into next year.
I mean, it's such a real thing, bro, because Mike, do you remember when Stanton, he took his to the face and he talked about it? He said he was timid to get in that box. And then he said it was part of the struggle he was having at the gate because mentally, it's hard to be sharp and think about the things that you need to do when you're actually worried about what possibly could happen. So, I mean, it's a real problem. That's why,
it's a demon, bro. Like, it's one of those things that, like, I know I'm always the comic relief whenever we do pros and Joes, but like, 3 seasons ago, championship game, I tear my Achilles running to first, and I turn around and look at the first baseman like he just kicked me in my knee, so I'm ready to throw hands. And then I turn around and I'm like, I'm ready to get stepping, and then I just immediately fall, and I'm like, damn, like that. It's the worst feeling in the world when you go down like that. But I would say an even bigger thing was coming back. Was like, man, I'm scared to round second. I'm scared to squat today and work on my legs that Jim says I don't have. Because
I ain't never even said that, bro. Calm down.
Nah, Jim's never seen my legs.
Man, I think you weigh 130 pounds wet, but I mean, that's a whole different thing.
Maybe, but nah, man, it's definitely. It's a weird approach when you get back into it after an injury like that, because your mind's telling you don't do this, but you've been doing this your whole life. You know what I mean? So I'm proud of you, bro. Like you doing what you're doing right now, and I know it's not the easiest thing in the world. It's no sap story over here. We still gotta talk shit about Wake Forest, but
no doubt.
man,
I ain't never
I'm
talked
proud
bad
of you.
about Wake. I'm actually mad at
I
them
did. It's not about Billy. It's
because
about
look,
about him.
listen to this, and I don't even know if Billy knows this.
Billy's
Obviously,
done
he
with me,
knows.
though.
Obviously, Billy knows that Tennessee, as far as in off the bench effect, whatever team we have interviewed the most guests from has won the national championship. But I was actually 3 for 3 in picking national champions preseason. So coming into year 4, I felt solid. It was down to 2 teams. It was down to Wake Forest or Tennessee. I made my tweet. I put it out there. I said, I'm going with Wake Forest to win it all. And now you better believe as soon as they got eliminated, man, folks were all over me on Twitter talking about, see, you don't know it all. And I'm like, oh, damn, I'm 3 for 4. Like, and then the team that I was considering second still won it all. So I felt solid. But yeah,
we just went from a heartfelt moment to Jim's Twitter beefs. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was because people got excited about it. I was wrong, and it was like I was all in on Wake Forest. That was where we went with that. I was trying to say I love Wake Forest. I still went there and traveled this year and watched Chase Burns absolutely shove it up Clemson's ass. That's a fact. But
hey man, Billy's a Clemson alumni. Don't talk about Clemson like that. Hell no, he said. Hey Billy, can I ask you one question? I wanted to leave it, but I loved it when I found out you were coming on the show because before I met in Off the Bench, unfortunately, I was a Clemson Tigers fan until I met Jim Cross. But
I guess I could say the same thing.
Exactly. So that's why I wanted to ask you, man. We're in the same boat. When you make that transition, not saying you got to talk down on Clemson and what that was. If you want to, fine. But man, when you make that transition and you're actually there in Tennessee, how much of a difference is that in just your day-to-day life, from academics to just the weight room facilities and everything else? Like when you have that idea of, I'm going to go to Tennessee, and then you're actually there, did it live up to everything, obviously, that you expected it to be from a campus perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously different. You kind of feel like a freshman again in a way, but I mean, the people there, like as far as teammates and coaches and just the whole staff, I mean, they made it super easy to be a new guy. I mean, I wasn't the only one. Obviously, we had like 6 or 7 transfers, so it was super easy, and like I said, everybody there made it that way, and it was fun, and we got to enjoy the whole year. There wasn't really like an awkward period in the first couple weeks. We hit it off right away, and it was fun.
Yeah, Mike, I've used both his clips at nauseum because they're so good to not use them. The one where he first comes on in his episode and he talked about the instant chemistry in the fall they had, and then you look at Tennessee's season and it just verified everything he said. And then for the people who were hating on his decision to leave Clemson, when he's hoisted a trophy at the end, nobody can say anything because it is a verified decision or verified that he made the right decision in where he chose. He went there. He not only got a national championship, he built his stock the way he did. So, big time move that, Billy wouldn't change for the world, obviously. But let's do this or that, guys. It's different than what we usually do. Being that you guys are in the minors, Mike talked about it. I got a hat collection that is epic. I actually can't wait to get the Brock Wilken signed Shuckers hat here in a few days. But my minor league hat collection, because I love the mascot. So this or that now, I give you 2 mascots. You choose one or the other. You tell me which one is your favorite. And so we'll go each time. We'll go Billy, then we'll go Brock. But starting first, Storm Chasers or River Bandits?
Storm Chasers.
Yeah, I'm with that.
Which me and Mike still haven't figured out what a Fisher cat is, but a Fisher cat or a Sea Dog?
I'm figuring it out.
Sea Dog.
Sea Dog.
Oh, look at these guys in unison. I am in love with this next one. We did these questions before I went there. The Montgomery biscuits are awesome. The whole hashtag butter up. I loved their hats. And then I got their Gray Sox hat, but the biscuits or the Rubber Ducks was just classic within itself.
Yeah, I'm going Rubber Ducks.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Montgomery, so I got to go Rubber Ducks there.
Wow, stray. Montgomery took a stray on that one.
They're mad because they beat them. That's all. But no, River Dogs or Rail Riders?
River Dogs.
Rail Riders.
Good. I thought they were going to pick the same the whole way. I like Rail Riders. It reminded me, Mike, of the Rough Riders, right? Like, I don't know. Sorry. All right, here's where we get to me, and everybody has a difference of opinion. I think these are the best 4, and I line them up against each other. Yard Goats or Mud Hens?
I'm gonna go yard goats.
Yeah, yard goats is a classic.
Yeah, and the color scheme, I actually wish I had it to grab. When Chase Dolander sent me the Yard Goats hat signed, hashtag to grow the game. Shout out, Doe. And I didn't know it was coming. See, I'm collecting these. He saw I did it and sent it. Mike, it was my favorite thing I ever received, man, the Yard Goats hat. All right, and man, Brock, look, I understand you're fixing to play, or you are playing them. Y'all just played them yesterday. But throw that away. I need you to be honest here. So, but obviously starting with you, Billy. Trash Pandas or Rumble Ponies?
I'm going Trash Pandas.
Got you, bro.
Yeah, I think Trash Pandas is so sick, dude. Like
Yeah,
their vibe here is really cool.
It's the comp too. It's the comp that you just. I feel like no matter who you are, whether it's first round or the championship game, if you're going up against the Red Pandas when it comes, or the Trash Pandas, as it comes down to just hats and uniforms. I mean, it don't matter which way you go out, man.
Mike, what he was just talking about, I can't wait to, obviously I'm getting to see Brock in general, but I just saw the Trash Pandas on the road against Montgomery. Yeah. I'm told that the way they do everything there is, I mean, they have a blast in all the different gimmicks and giveaways and stuff. So I'm excited from that point. But so the final one, we're going Yard Goats against Trash Pandas.
I gotta stick with Trash Pandas.
Yeah, same.
And it's perfect, Mike. Those are the first two I had to the collection. Houston Harding with the Trash Pandas was the first hat I got, and then I got the Yard Goats just recently. So I feel like I got the right two, though, Mike.
Oh man, I get it. I just think, at the end of the day, man, like I said, first round championship don't matter if you're going up against the Pandas, man. It's over with.
Mike, before you close this thing down, I do got to make a note because you did the box screen the way it did. I don't even think you realized you did it. I perfectly strategic my camera to where they could see the Brock Wilken and Billy Barrel's posters, and then you set it to where all they can see is it looks like they can only see Drew Beam or Gavin Guidry. What's up with that?
Let's see. Hello?
Look, I see Brock in the corner and Billy's on the corner. It's like, look, see what you trying to do to me, man?
Hey, I'm sorry.
All right, you can go back to your normal screen. It actually did look better. I just wanted them dudes to know that I'm actually got to take Brock's off the wall so I can get him to sign it.
Oh, I was about to say, why does Brock catching strays from?
No, man, he's the only one on the top row that's not framed. Do you know that both of theirs? I don't even think Billy knew I had his. Because Brock's is a one of one. They actually never sold Brock's. The Wake Forest deal with the the athletic collection deal did not. The NIL approval did not happen until after Brock left. And I literally told Brent, I was like, bro, all I wanted was a Brock poster. And he's like, if you get Brock's permission, I'll still make it. And I was like, cool, make me two. I had one made for me and his mom. So.
See, that sucks, man. See, I would show y'all my Billy and Brock poster, but it's actually on that wall over there today. So it's not in the cards right now. But.
I mean, I think it's better than an Urlacher jersey. I'm just saying.
Hey, you know what? After the shit he's been saying politically lately,
don't bring up politics.
I'm just saying. I missed Brian when he just hit people. I don't like Brian campaigning on my TV. Like, bro, no, I don't care about who you voting for. I need you to suit up today. We got Jordan Love issues.
I bet he can still ball out. I ain't even gonna lie.
Nah, hell no. After I seen that hair they took hair from his back and put it on his head. Be so real with me right now, bro. You can't be doing that shit. That shit is
I didn't even know about that, but I'm looking it up when this is over.
Yeah, that shit is insane, bro. I mean, whatever. You do you, I guess, B-Right. I ain't gonna say it to his face. But appreciate you guys being here. It's a little chaotic episode. We just kind of kicked it back, had a lot of fun. Hopefully Billy doesn't think I'm a psychopath.
That's what people have said they've liked about it, Mike. We've just really kind of just done our own thing. We have a script, but we don't really stick to it.
Yeah, we just do our own thing. But it turned into Brian Urlacher and his back hair. So I don't know what happened today. But I appreciate you guys being here, man. Make sure to check out Billy and Brock on all social media platforms as they are tearing up minor league baseball. You can always check out Chinook and Old Dominic on all social media platforms as well. You are listening to In Off the Bench Pros and Joes, brought to you by the Give Us a Shot Network. So make sure you give us a like, you give us a subscribe, a follow button. If you didn't like the episode, that's fine too. Hit the dislike button. I don't care. Views of you. We doing our own thing anyways. But until then, man, we'll check you guys out later. Till next week. Peace.
Give them a shot to do what?